Have you ever wondered how one of the most powerful countries in the world can suddenly freeze its own government? Not because of an emergency, not because of a natural disaster, but simply because the people in charge can't agree on how to spend money. It sounds absurd, but that's exactly what a government shutdown is. And today, we're going to break down what it actually means, why it keeps happening, and why this year's shutdown could be unlike anything the country has seen before. Let's imagine, for a moment, a huge, bustling city. This city is giant. It stretches across coastlines, mountains, deserts, and forests. It has airports, hospitals, parks, roads, schools, safety departments. Everything you'd expect from the biggest city in the world. And at the head of this city stands one iconic figure, Uncle Sam. He's not a real person, of course, but think of him as the symbol of the whole system, the manager of everything the government runs. Now, Uncle Sam has a complicated job. He's responsible for making sure dollars flow to all the different parts of the city, so everything works smoothly. He makes sure airport workers get paid, that national parks are taken care of, that safety teams have what they need, and that public health and education have the resources to function. But right now, Uncle Sam is facing a huge problem. The city is running out of money. Or, more accurately, the government isn't allowed to spend its money because the people who control the budget can't agree on how to divide it. It's like having a full wallet, but being told you can't open it, because two groups of people are arguing over how you should spend the bills inside. Every year, the government needs a new budget. Think of it as renewing the city's giant allowance. Different areas need different amounts, and those numbers change depending on the priorities of the people in charge. Some years, more goes to defense. Some years, more goes to health care. Some years, environmental programs get funding boosts. Other years, social services get cuts. It's a constant negotiation. The challenge is that both sides, traditionally called the red team and the blue team, must agree on the budget. And this year, they are nowhere near an agreement. Before we dive into the politics, let's pause and imagine a simple scenario. Picture two parents trying to decide how much allowance to give their kid. One parent wants to give $10, the other wants to give $15. They discuss, then debate, then argue. They argue so long that they never end up giving any allowance at all. The next day arrives, and the kid has nothing. That's essentially how a government shutdown works. If Congress doesn't pass a spending plan, the government legally can't distribute dollars. Not because the dollars don't exist, but because the rules say they can't move until everyone agrees on a plan. And when that agreement falls apart, things start shutting down. One by one, national parks close their gates, museums lock their doors, government offices go dark. People needing passports, federal paperwork, or public services suddenly face delays or cancellations. Many departments simply stop functioning. And then there are the stickmen, the millions of workers who keep the entire system running. Some of them are sent home, unpaid. Others are told to keep working with no idea when they'll receive a paycheck. Imagine having to show up every day, performing a critical job, knowing your next check won't arrive until politicians stop arguing. It's stressful, destabilizing, and for many families financially devastating. These workers aren't abstract figures. They're airport security officers who guide travelers safely. They're scientists who track dangerous weather. They're nurses in federal hospitals. They're firefighters on federal lands. They're food inspectors who keep grocery stores safe. They're office staff processing taxes and benefits. They're educators and support teams for public programs. Now, why is the shutdown such a big deal this year? Well, it comes down to deep disagreements between the two political teams. The red team, influenced by Uncle Sam's leadership, wants to dramatically cut government spending. They argue the government is too big, too expensive, and too inefficient. They want to reduce welfare programs, shrink the number of federal workers, and tighten the budget to avoid growing national debt. On the other side, the blue team believes these cuts go too far. They argue that reducing funding for healthcare, education, and social programs will hurt millions of people who rely on them. They want more investment in public services, protection for vulnerable communities, and reversals of certain economic cuts proposed by the red team. Both sides see the world very differently. Both sides have different priorities, different values, and different definitions of what the government should be responsible for. And neither wants to be the team that appears to give in. But there's something else adding tension to the situation: political strategy. Sometimes, a shutdown becomes a bargaining tool, a way to pressure the other side to compromise. The idea is simple: apply enough public pressure, create enough disruption, and eventually, someone has to fold. But in practice, it often backfires. Instead of pressuring the other side, it hurts the workers, it hurts the economy, and it hurts the city itself. This year, though, something is different. Something many people aren't ready for. In most previous shutdowns, workers were temporarily sent home and later called back. Eventually, when the shutdown ended, they received back pay. It wasn't ideal, but it allowed the system to recover. This time, Uncle Sam is talking about permanent layoffs, not temporary furloughs, actual job cuts. Entire departments may shrink. Some agencies may merge. Some programs may disappear forever. Experts believe as many as 800,000 to 1 million federal workers could be impacted. This means some stickmen, real people with families and responsibilities, might not just miss a paycheck. They might lose their jobs permanently, and the ripple effects of that could stretch across the entire city. Think about what happens when experienced workers leave for good. Airports lose skilled staff. National parks lose rangers who know the land better than anyone. Hospitals and clinics lose nurses who've been through countless emergencies. Scientific agencies lose researchers with years of data experience. Paperwork piles up in federal offices, slowing down everything from passports to tax returns to benefits claims. And once you lose that expertise, it's not easy to get it back. Hiring new people takes time. Training them takes resources. And many talented workers may decide not to return at all. The long-term cost is hard to measure, but everyone agrees it could reshape the entire system. Meanwhile, across the city, something else is happening. Protests. Stickmen are gathering, carrying signs, chanting, demanding answers. They want leaders to stop arguing and start negotiating. They want stability, predictability, and fairness. Because at the end of the day, the shutdown isn't just about politics. It's about people trying to keep their homes, feed their families, and live their lives without fear of losing everything over a policy disagreement they have no control over. And even if you're not one of those workers, a shutdown affects you too. It affects travel, delays, cancellations, longer lines at airports. It affects safety, fewer inspectors, fewer responders, fewer resources. It affects government services, slow processing times, suspended programs, reduced support. It affects the economy, less consumer spending, more uncertainty, more instability, and it can affect your taxes and future public services depending on what gets cut or changed after the shutdown ends. It's all connected. A shutdown isn't just a temporary pause. It can snowball into long-term consequences that reshape the entire city for years. So the big question is, what happens next? No one knows for sure. Maybe the teams will compromise. Maybe public pressure will force action. Maybe the shutdown will end quickly. Or maybe it will drag on for weeks, even months. But one thing is clear. The people who keep the city running deserve better than uncertainty. They deserve leaders who can work together, even when they disagree. And they deserve a system that doesn't collapse every time the budget becomes a political battlefield. Now that you understand what a government shutdown really is, why it happens, and why it matters, not just for the people who work in government, but for every stickman in the city. You're better prepared to follow the news, ask questions, and understand the bigger picture. If this video helped you make sense of a complicated topic, be sure to hit the like button. It really helps more people find the channel. And if you enjoy simple explanations of complex issues, consider subscribing. We post videos just like this every week to help you stay informed without the confusion. Got questions or ideas for the next topic? Drop them in the comments. I read every single one. Thanks for watching, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.